are there, and then this is the flood risk map. So flood risk is because of vulnerability and coping capacity. So from the hazard map, whatever flood came, then risk map has been developed with the vulnerability, and you can see here, this is very important. On the Eastern Economic Zone, lot of flood risk is there, and when you go in the season, let's say September, October, you will always find traffic very slow because water comes on the road also sometimes, and then it is affecting all the industrial work. So though we are very enthusiastic, but we must take care of these risks. Then comes the drought risk. Drought is very important because ultimately everybody needs food, vegetables and everything. So this is the drought hazard which is happening there, that we map, and that is the risk about drought risk. And then we went for multi-hazard, combining both. So these are the regions around the Eastern Economic Corridor. That 5 kilometer buffer we have taken, but it is much more than that. So lot of risk is there in this area. And if there is risk and lot of investment of billions and trillions of dollars is there, so I think this is a time to sit down and make the good policies and try to focus on this, like how to restrict the development in the risky areas and take it to some other areas where the risk is lower. This is a complete framework for sustainable development, like hazard reduction. Energy will be mapped. So all the industries which are in far places, all the fishery activity which is going on in deep ocean and which are not regulated properly or people are violating, all the activities of night time will be watched by nighttime data. This is the data by NOAA, available free, PIRS and day-night band, and then this is how it looks like when you get it. Then you process it, and then it will give lot of range of brightness values. And then it tells in urban area, when we see the daytime, it tells only urban area. But here the nighttime data will tell 5 categories of urban area, like heavy industrial area and surrounding commercial areas, then residential areas and light industry areas, everything. So this is the map prepared by the nighttime data, and we found that around the Eastern Economic Corridor, how the things are developing. Even in some remote places, what is happening in the night time, because urban area and villages will not give that much emittance of energy. So there may be some development. So in if you take 2013, this data is available from 2013 onwards. So up to 10 years we analyzed it, and you can see various 5 colors are there, and then we can find out what is happening in that area, and something which is hidden from the daytime data, optical data, can be seen. Then we have taken 4 zones where the major development has occurred, and we analyzed it, and using the nighttime data, and very good results came. And we conducted some field work also to see how the things are in reality. This is the flow chart I will skip. And then SDG has given some indicators to evaluate, that is land consumption ratio. And this is the land consumption ratio from 95 to 23. And we can see earlier land consumption ratio was getting higher here, and then in 2010, in the nearby district also, lot of development happened because some innovation industries are there. And so in that zone also some development happened. And then in 2000, the changes are, these are the changes from 95 to 2000. And so here 2020 to 23. So here government is able to direct them, but some districts are getting more land consumption ratio, which was not earlier. So this is the change. It is not exact thing, but from 20 to 23, what is the change here? So that is happening. So here people are little bit cooled down here in development because no space. So they are finding the nearby areas, and urbanization is going on. So population growth and land growth ratio So population, this is the population growth rate, how the population is increasing 95 to 2000, and then 2020 to 2023, population in Thailand is decreasing. When I went there in 2000, population was 70 million. Now it is almost 58 million. So it is on the downtrend. So that is not a pressure, I would say.
That's a good.
Reverse, when the population is decreasing and urbanization is increasing.
Urbanization because of industrial development, and lot of migrants from other provinces might have come there. So they need space to live and other things. But population as such of whole Thailand is going down.
Good, that is very good. Yeah, very.
Outsider.
That is most
Yeah,
important.
but per capita land consumption might have increased. Like you need only 10 square meter, now you may consume maybe 20 square meter. That may also happen. Like per capita consumption of the
You
land.
mean that there is a lack of policy in the government?
Like barren lands. Barren lands are the land which are exposed, they are waiting for construction. So red colors, I think you can see an orange color, means dark. So these are the areas where development is going on rapidly. Red and dark yellow, you can say. So from 95, you can see how the development is increasing. And what is the scenario in 2023? It is all dark red now in this area. And some forests are there, which Thailand made very good policy not to cut forest. So they are preserving the forest. Now, if we see machine learning algorithm, so we applied machine learning for classification, which gives very accurate results. So 4 machine learning algorithm from 95 till 2023 we applied, and we found very good result by random forest. Then we generated urban heat island. What happens? The first effect will be the rise in temperature. In a lot of construction and greenery is lost, temperature will rise. How much rise is there? Let us have a look on this. So here in 95, red color is the highest temperature, 31 to 43. Green color is 12.8 to 18.2. In the same area, for everybody, I think all of us know that in forest it is cooler than urban areas. So this is the scenario wherever urban area centers are there, they are very hot. Temperature 31 to 43. Forest areas, you will get 12 to 18 degrees. So all the intelligent people, when they feel weather is very bad, very hot, go to the forest and walk around and survive. This is the scenario. Many people are not aware that this is the difference. They think that, okay, climate change guys have told that 2 degrees temperature rise in the world, so only 2 degrees. But it's not that. Means we have to see the scenarios, like within the forest we have 12 degrees, and in the cities we can go up to 31 to 43. So we are having so much difference of temperature within our zones, and we have to manage at provincial, maybe at district level also. Now this is the scenario of land use and land cover. Like urban is increasing from say constantly from 21% to 32.39%. Greenery from 41.27 has come down to 18.81%. Lot of loss of greenery is there in Chonburi. Similarly, temperature, what is in the red zone of urban, the temperature which was highest temperature was 38, now it has become 43 point something. So 5 degrees rise in temperature in urban areas. In the forest area it was 12 degrees, now it has become 14.4, 2 degrees temperature rise in forest areas. Other thing also rising. So overall temperature increase is there. I will say that we have to see in which zone temperature is rising by how much amount. Now this is scenario, we have used Markov analysis for land land growth modeling, and we found for 2030, 2040 and 2050, SDG must be completed by 2030, and people say that it is quite difficult to achieve the targets, but we should keep on working on that. So by 2030, the means constructed land will increase furthermore because now infrastructure is ready and development is in full swing. So by 2030 we will see lot of red colors in Chonburi, and by 2050 you see 2030. One good thing in Thailand is they are not destroying the ecology that badly. They are quite aware also. So I will say scenario is not that alarming. But we have to check it in India and then we will know what is happening here. So here water bodies are increasing little bit. It's not, it means not decreasing rapidly. In some year they made some reservoirs and it increased. And forests they are not cutting drastically, so that is maintained. But of course we see decline in the green cover. So we have to be very much careful what will happen in 20, 40 and 50 for our children. This is the comparison from 1995 to 2050, and you can see here after 22 there is a sudden.
Now what went wrong? What went wrong? Take Colombia. When it was announced, there was this spark, and there was this insulation stuff heating. But there were some engineers who said, I think we should stop it. Why?
We are talking about sustainable development. And I think over the time we've now established that there is a paradigm called sustainability, and I'm going to start with that. Please, I have a challenge. When people move around, when I'm talking about some of the practical things that people are doing, today I think there will be a bit more philosophical talk. In conferences like this, you start on the first day, especially in this environment, talking about some of the things that people are doing, and then at some point we need to